Yvette Hawthorne had accidentally strayed into the werecreature's territory, a land strictly forbidden to all humans. When she woke the next morning, the doctor delivered a shocking verdict: she was 1 month pregnant. She rushed home in a state of panic. The second she pushed open the front door, her father, Brenton Hawthorne, and Earl, spoke to her in a frigid, unyielding tone. The Travon family required a pure bride for their heir, and that bride was to be her. Yvette froze on the spot, her blood turning cold. The Travons were a prestigious upper-class family. Rumors lingered about the clan's leader, Calvin Travon, a cold, ruthless being feared as the undisputed king of the werecreatures. Why me? Yvette's voice trembled uncontrollably. Brenton did not even bother to glance at her, his tone laced with disdain. Because you are the most useless child in this family. On the eve of her forced wedding, Yvette's stepsister, Lena Hawthorne, uncovered her hidden pregnancy. In a fit of rage, Lena pinned her down and choked her tightly, cutting off her breath. Just as Yvette's vision blurred and she thought her life would end there, the door to her room burst open with a crash. A servant's panicked voice rang out, filled with utter terror. "Sir Calvin Travon. What brings you here, my lord?" Dead silence crashed over the room in an instant. Yvette lifted her head with great difficulty. Through her hazy sight, she saw Calvin's piercing golden eyes staring straight at her, half hidden beneath his dark silver mask. He stepped slowly closer. He made no move to save her, his gaze dropping directly to her abdomen as he questioned her in a bone-chilling cold voice. "Whose child is it?" "No matter where you run, we will hunt you down, human." Barefoot, Yvette fled desperately through the dense forest. Her dress was torn and tattered by sharp thorns, her body bruised and etching with every step. Exhaustion weighed heavily on her, threatening to drag her to the ground with every stride. But she dared not pause for even a second. A pack of werecreatures had been chasing her relentlessly for miles. These were no ordinary clan beasts. They were exiled outcasts, banished from their packs for their cruelty and lawlessness. Freed from all pack rules and restraints, they took cruel pleasure in hunting and preying on lone humans, especially vulnerable human women. The night sky hung with a strange, eerie blood-red moon, its dim, ominous glow obscuring the forest path and making escape all the harder. It was an unbreakable ancient rule: no human dared step near the borders of werecreature territory on a blood moon night. Humans and werecreatures shared the same continent, yet hatred and hostility had festered between their races for countless generations. Countless ordinary humans who strayed into this forbidden land never returned home alive. Yvette knew this danger better than anyone. She had only come here because her stepsister Lena had lied to her, claiming her fiancé Edwin Bailey waited for her at the forest's edge with an important message. Yvette had trusted the words, for Edwin had never once deceived her before. But there was no Edwin waiting for her. Only a horde of savage, bloodthirsty outcast werecreatures lying in ambush. In that desperate moment, she finally understood. Edwin would never hurt her, but Lena would destroy her without a second thought. "Why are you running so slow? Already worn out?" One of the pursuers sneered, his rough voice echoing through the woods. Humans are truly frail and weak creatures. Yvette's face drained of all color, her throat tight and burning with suppressed panic. She could not afford to be caught. To fall into their hands meant certain doom. She squeezed her eyes shut, bracing herself, and pushed forward with every last ounce of her strength. Yet the heavy footsteps behind her grew louder and closer by the second, and despair began to swallow her whole. Just as hope faded, Yvette caught a faint glimmer of light deep within the dark forest ahead. A solitary cabin stood hidden among the trees. She had no idea what awaited her inside. It might be her only chance of survival or an even greater, more terrifying danger. But she had no other path left to take. Gritting her teeth through the pain, she forced her trembling legs to run faster, racing toward the faint beacon of light. She was still too slow. After just a few stumbling steps, a sharp claw clamped firmly over the back of her neck, yanking her backward. A sharp, burning pain erupted across her skin, sending her sprawling into the muddy ground. A werecreature with dark gray fur loomed over her, a malicious sneer twisting its features. Its gaze locked onto her, filled with unbridled malice and contempt. Yvette's fingers dug deep into the cold dirt, her heart sinking into hopelessness. She thought bitterly that she might truly perish in this lonely forest tonight. As the beast raised its claw to strike, Yvette squeezed her eyes shut, awaiting the end. Strangely, a quiet sense of resignation settled over her. Perhaps death would be a relief from all her suffering. But in that split second, an overwhelming, terrifying aura burst forth from the isolated cabin. Every single chasing werecreature froze instantly, dropping low to the ground, their bodies trembling with unbridled fear. Damn it, the dark gray-furred beast snarled under its breath. It shot Yvette one last hateful glance and lifted its claw once more. Yvette's lips stiffened. From the corner of her eye, she glanced toward the cabin and whispered hoarsely, "Could you save me just once more?" It seemed too late. The beast's sharp claw sliced toward her throat. Yet before it could make contact, the dark gray-furred werecreature shattered into a wisp of crimson mist, vanishing completely without even a sound. Yvette froze rigidly by the cabin door, her breath catching sharply in her throat. The remaining werecreatures turned deathly pale, screaming in terror as they fled deep into the forest, not daring to linger for a moment. The entire woods fell into a deathly silence. The only sound left was the faint crackling of firewood burning inside the cabin's hearth. Yvette slowly turned her head. There was no hunter, no guard inside, only a lone man seated in the shadows. Tall and imposing, he wore an open black robe, his face half concealed by a dark silver mask. The only clear feature visible on him was a pair of piercing, golden eyes. The dangerous, oppressive aura rolling off his body told Yvette the truth at once. She had not escaped danger. She had only fled a pack of savage outcasts to stumble upon a far more powerful, far more terrifying high-ranking werecreature. She had only fled a pack of savage outcasts to stumble upon a far more powerful, far more terrifying high-ranking werecreature. The fleeing beasts had not gone far. They lingered at the forest's edge, pacing restlessly, growling low, frustrated and afraid, yet never daring to step foot closer. Yvette stood rooted to the ground, trapped between deadly fates. If she stepped outside, the waiting werecreatures would pounce on her instantly. If she stayed inside, she was left alone with a terrifying, unpredictable monster. Warm firelight flickered softly across the room. After a long moment, Yvette steeled her resolve and took small, cautious steps toward the masked man, cold sweat prickling across her back. His voice dropped low and hoarse, icy and restrained, as if he were holding back a terrifying fury. "Get out of here."